And so first of all, I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we all gather today. We pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge the First Peoples as the first scientists, educators and healers. So a bit of walkthrough of what we're going to do today. We're going to have just introduce the event facilitators for next week. I'm going to provide a very brief overview of the testing event, the testing scenarios, testing resources that we have, how to provide feedback, and get a bit of an introduction from participants and how you want to test and what you want or need for the event next week. And then we'll just have some general questions at the end. I want to have this pretty open. I've got a whole heap of slides here, but you probably just don't want to listen to me talking through them all. So if you have questions as we go, please raise your hand, interrupt. This is supposed to be a two-way conversation, so absolutely speak up as we go. So the event facilitators, so myself, Brett, Steph and Danielle will be the facilitators for next week in Brisbane. We'll also have a number of other Spark staff there to support us. Basically, if someone's got a Spark shirt on, come and have a chat to us and we'll help you out. There'll be plenty of us there to provide support, as much support as possible on the day and leading up to the day as well. So reach out to us prior to the day if you need anything as well. Got some key links. So we do have a testing event page on Confluence there. I'll jump to that in a second. I think Steph might put some of these in the chat as well. We've got a 040 preview snapshot of the Fire IG that was released yesterday. So that's the one we're going to be using for testing. That's now available. We've got a testing FAQ as well and a Zuluk chat for any questions you might have leading up to the event, during the event, after the event. It's just a general testing one. So feel free to add anything in there as we go. So I'll just show you, this is the Confluence page we've got for the testing event. It's very similar style to you would have seen for any connectathons that we've had in the past. Description of the event, what you need to bring along. These slides we're going through today are also on this page. So if there's any links you need access to or want to review this later, just jump on there and download that. The agenda for the day and other information that we're going to go through here today. So I'll jump back to this. So just an overview of the testing event, why we're doing it. So the key thing we want to do here is actually foster collaboration among those that are implementing AU Core with profile and interaction support. We want to facilitate practical testing, but the key thing is we want to find issues, challenges, gaps in AU Core. The whole point of this is using the specification, using your products, using your proof of concepts, to see if the specification is fit for purpose. So we're just going to provide a structured environment where we can do real-time testing together and troubleshooting and sharing our insights to refine AU Core. So the key thing, the outcome we want from this day is to gather the essential feedback so we can enhance mature AU Core. So we want to be able to get testing feedback so that we can know that the AU Core has been tested, how it's been tested, what kind of coverage we've got for AU Core, and identify any of those issues. So that's what we want to get out of the day. So where is the event? So it's next Thursday, 27th of June. We're at the Novotel Brisbane and South Bank in the South Bank room. So it's at 38 Cordelia Street, South Brisbane. So in the Novotel, there will be some signage of some sort in the foyer, which will say Spark and should point you in the direction of the South Bank room. But if you can't find it, certainly ask someone at reception and they'll point you in the right direction. And a run through of how the day will go. So registration's open from 8:30. There'll be someone there from 8:30 to sign you in and get you signed up. There'll be some coffee, so you can grab a coffee while you're there as well. And then we'll have a kickoff for the day at 9 o'clock, where I'll just do an acknowledgement of country and welcome, and we'll do a bit of a run through of the kickoff, similar to this, just what we're going to do on the day, what resources we have available, and the like. And then really the rest of the day is testing. So we're going to have the session in the morning. We have morning tea at 10:30. We're going to have lunch at 12:30. So lunch will be provided in the restaurant, and we'll also have afternoon tea provided as well. So, but the whole day is just testing. So the facilitators will be there, support staff from Spark will be there to wander around, help you work through testing, help you with creating feedback, creating issues, and all of that throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, we want to have a bit of a wrap up. We want to go through what we did during the day, what challenges we had, what worked well, those sorts of things. So we'll do a bit of a close out there and finish up at 4:45. More than likely, we'll go find a bar somewhere afterwards and have a drink. So if you want to stick around a bit longer afterwards, you're more than welcome. So checklist for the day. The key thing for the day, before the day, is making sure, if you haven't already, we need you to complete a AU Core testing expression of interest form. This is to make sure that we've understand who's coming to the event, what they're bringing, what they're doing. So definitely, if you haven't already and you're on this call, make sure that you fill in one of those prior to the event so that we know you're coming. The other thing you'll need is a proof of concept or a product or something that supports AU Core profiles with interaction support. So acting as an AU Core responder or an AU Core requester. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but just that's something you need to bring. And make sure you've registered as a HL7 user so you can access Confluence and the Jira systems. So that's where we'll be raising our feedback and issues. So we want to make sure you've got an account. Anyone can create an account. You don't need to be a HL7 member. So just follow that link and you can create an account. Just make sure you can log in and access the HL7 Jira issue tracker. That's where we'll be raising issues. Make sure you're familiar with the HL7 specification feedback as well. So there's you can follow that and so the guidance on how to provide feedback. But that's why on the day we'll be there to support and help you go through this process. So just make sure you've registered and had a quick make sure you can access those sites before you come. And then obviously prepare your product proof of concept and technical environment for testing on the day. And you'll need to bring any devices, servers, or the like you have, or ensure that they can be accessed remotely. So we'll be in a hotel with hotel Wi-Fi. So sometimes that's can have restrictions or the like on it. So just make sure that you're comfortable you're going to be able to access what you need on the day. We're going to just provide tables and power, and there will be hotel internet. So everything else you need to bring. We'll also provide the food and drinks. So other than that, you need to bring along everything you need for the day. So the AU Core testing scenarios. So the 040 preview snapshot of AU Core was actually created last night. So that's the snapshot that we're going to be using for testing, or we want you to use for testing. So we were going to use the ballot snapshot, but it's not quite ready yet. So this one has been specifically created for us for testing and will be used for testing up until the ballot one is available. So this is the one we should be using for your product like, and I'll just show you a copy of that as well. Oh, we've got here. So this is the 040 snapshot here. There's a note on the top of this that it was created specifically for testing. Under support as well, that's where we've got the downloads available as well. So you can use this in your system of choice. And then for this testing event, like I sort of mentioned earlier, we're looking at profile and interaction support as our primary things we're testing so that we can test together in this shared environment. So we're looking at AU core requesters and AU core responders. So an AU core requester is the one that creates or initiates data access requests, retrieves core digital health administrative information, or acts as the client in the client-server interaction. And the responder responds to data access requests, provides responses for core digital health and administrative information, and acts as the server in the client-server interaction. So they're the key things we're looking at trying to test on the day. And for that, with the responder testing, so there's options here to test that. We'll have, you basically implement your system as an AU core responder. The capability statement describes what an AU core responder should be doing. And then you can run tests with it using the primary way to test this is using Inferno. So we've got Inferno test kit there. And there's a guide here as well now for using that test kit as well. So we've created a bit of a guide for that. The 040 snapshot isn't in there yet, but it will be shortly. It might go in tonight. Otherwise, it'll go in very early next week. I think at the moment it's got the CI build in there and a 030, but very shortly 040 will be available in Inferno, and it'll definitely be there for the day as well. But you can also test using your own test scripts, harnesses, and one of the other key things is on the day is that we'll have hopefully other people who want to connect to each other's systems. So there's an opportunity there for other systems to connect and test your system as well. And AU core requester testing. So this is profile and interaction support as an AU core requester. So implement your system as a client, and you can test your system using the sparked AU core file reference server, which we'll have available on the day, as well as collaborating with others on the day that have servers that might allow you to connect to them. So testing resources we'll have available. So we have a sparked AU core file reference server, and it'll be available for read and search operations. There's a link there. I think this will be updated shortly with the latest 040 snapshot. And it'll also be loaded with our test data as well. So there'll be no authorization on this server, and you can read and search, and it also supports the validate operation for validating resources. If you want a file server instance that supports create and update, and we can provide one of those in the reference server as well. So we just need to know that you want one. So if you want one for the day, just send us an email to fire@cyro.au, and we can set one of those up for you to use on the day as well. We also have the Spark terminology server. So this is tx.dev, and it'll include the AU core profiles. Again, that'll be updated, given the snapshots only just came out last night. That'll be updated shortly with the latest 040 snapshots. And it's loaded with terminology that you'll need for testing AU core, and it supports the validate code, and expand operations. So that's there for you to use as well if you need it. And as I mentioned before, we also have the HL7AU Inferno test kit. So for testing the file server, it's also got a validate in there you can use for validating profiles. And we've got a guide that'll walk you through using that, and we can help you out on the day as well using that. For test data, we've got a HL7AU fire test data repository. So this has synthetic, realistic data that conforms to HL7AU fire profiles. And so it's broader than just AU core, but it definitely has coverage for AU core in there. It's got things like patients, practitioners, practitioner roles, organizations, and more. We're still actively updating this. We're trying to get as much as possible in here that'll give us a full coverage of AU Core. We're not there yet. We're still adding to it. So over the coming week, we'll add even more to it. But this will continue to evolve over time. But it's a good resource to have for test data, so you don't have to create it all yourself. We'll also be loading this into the AU Core Fire reference server. So that'll be in there for you to reference as well. Providing feedback. So this is one of the key outcomes we want from the day. So not just there to test and play around with each other. We actually want to provide feedback so we can assess the maturity of AU Core. So this is an evidence gathering process that will be used for assessing the maturity of AU Core when it publishes for ballot. And without these, we can't assess the maturity. So what we want to do, and we want to help you on the day do this, is compile your test results, and then we'll submit them to the Spark team using a AU Core test results form. So these test results, they won't be made public. It doesn't matter if you've got failed tests in there. It's really what we're going to use it for is just a coverage report so that we can understand what was tested, what coverage we have, and then that will inform the maturity assessment of AU Core. But this is absolutely critical. This is something we really need so that we can show that AU Core has been tested and that it is implementable. Along with that as well is actually providing feedback that can be used to improve the specification. So if we find any issues, any problems, we want to raise JIRA tickets for those so that they can be addressed in future iterations of the specification. So just as important as providing our test results so we can assess the maturity is actually providing feedback and raising any issues that we find along the way. So that's why it's important you just set up your account beforehand. On the day, we'll help you raise any of these issues, put them in, but just making sure, we want to make sure they're raised by whoever found them. We don't want to put them in on your behalf because then you'll get the feedback of when things are addressed and the like in the specification development. So participant introductions, this is where I just want to take an opportunity here to sort of get to know who's on the call today, what sort of product proof of concept you want to test at the event, what type of test data you think you might use, is there anything you need? And we've also got a page for the testing participant capability page. So anyone who's coming along to the event, so we can use that to coordinate who can test what against anyone else. And I can probably kick this off because we are, through Spark, actually bringing a product to test, and that's our reference server. So we'll be bringing our Fire reference server. It'll be acting as a AU Core responder. We would like to test that on day by having people connect to our server and use it. So we've got clients out there connect to our server and use it, make sure that they can consume resources from it. We're going to use the test data from the GitHub repository. And I think for anything you need to support testing, I think is everyone else. We want people to come along and use the server and test with us. So that's probably where we're at with that. So I will just open the floor to Landon. I might start with you, given I know you're coming along. If you want to share what you're doing on the day.
Sure. We've got some APIs, so we're probably testing the responder, and we have a number of resources like allergen tolerance, condition, document reference, encounter, medication request, observation, patient, and so on. And most likely, I think I like the look of the Inferno test harness and smashing our server and seeing what the differential is. Ours has been primarily based on AU base, so it'll be interesting see what the differences are, but I think we still will get some valuable, we might still find some issues or not. But that's, basically just testing our API.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point too, that you don't have to specifically have implemented AU Core. I think this is the opportunity to test your system against AU core, regardless of how you've implemented, and see where the differences are, where the gaps are, and the like, and how either the specification might need to adapt to that, or how you might need to adapt to that as well to support AU core. So, from your test data, Landon, what test data are you looking at using?
Not sure I need too much
Mm.
test data. I might just use it as a reference, but I might just be testing the responses of our server. And we do have a few creates. So maybe we don't have too many though. I think, yeah, so I probably don't need a lot of test data actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have a look for what creates I have and maybe send them through.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. Um, who else we got on the line? Someone from ADHA want to talk?
Yeah, Rob here. So we've got primarily derived implementation guides that are derived from a mixture of AU Core and AU Base. So we've got a bunch of separate profiles that are derived from AU Core, AU Base, and we have instances that we've created that we're attempting to meet conformity against those profiles. So from a test data perspective, we'll bring our own. Really,
Mhm.
I think we've got enough coverage there, and we've got the know-how to create them on the fly, with different scenarios and whatever we need on the fly. That would be easy for us to do that. We don't have a product, like a server or a client product per se to bring in that sense, but we're just kind of in the realm of derived implementation guide and profiles. Yeah, and as far as the methodology, I'm not familiar with Inferno. I've seen it, over the years, very superficially, but never had any experience with it, and I'm not sure how it would fit into our context. So yeah, I'd be happy to learn about that. I suppose get a bit of hands dirty there. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. But any other guys in the team, do you have anything to add?
Um, I can. We also looking to. We have implementation called Provider Connect Australia, which is based off AU base at the moment. We also, in the future, we want to derive that IG implementation guide from AU core. So we want to test profiles like healthcare service, location, the organization, going in the future, how it behaves with deriving from AU core as well.
Yeah. So, like I said, you're not specifically bringing a product then, so you're looking at really trying to validate some resources and the like, but then the key.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have a question about the Inferno. I can see there's some documentation about using the file validator as well.
Yes.
So we can use the file validator instead of Inferno.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, all
100%.
right.
So yeah, so we've got obviously the file validator, the CLI.
All right.
Inferno does have a web page. It's actually probably a bit harder to use than the CLI itself. So,
Okay.
but it is there if you want a point and click type environment. So
Yeah, we use file validator a lot in our team. So
yeah.
yep, we will get that and use that validator to validate. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't quite see hands. Oh, Brett, I think.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, if you did want to play with Inferno, it might be worth requesting a write account and just writing your test instances up to the test server, and then you could run Inferno against that. So that's just another way, if you've just got data, to kind of load your data into a server that has the API built out. So that's just something to think about if it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, thank you. Is that like we have to do that days in advance or something, or is it on the day you could just do it?
Earlier the better.
But
So we've
email,
got time to set it up for you.
yeah, fire at csro.au. It just
Okay.
email and yeah, just request, and that way you'll have one all set up ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Heath?
I guess my comment about Inferno is it's probably more for testing those that have a server. So I'm not entirely sure what benefit you'll get, or what kind of useful information you'll get by executing Inferno against your test data.
I've got
So
them.
Just the
that's not,
validator.
it's
Yeah.
actually more for those that are profile only. Inferno is not your thing. It is more about when you're the server capability, because it's really testing the interactions more so than the actual profiles themselves. I mean, there's a bit of profile validation, but it's very much about search capabilities and of the like. So the majority of the testing is testing different capabilities of, the different scenarios of search parameters.
Okay. Does it have the capability of uploading custom search parameters, ones you roll your own?
No.
Okay.
That's the server.
Okay. Thank you.
So effectively, Inferno is a client, but as a client, it is testing the capability of the server.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought too, Uday might be interested in the testing framework as an agency beast as well. So hopefully there's opportunity to look at that.
Yeah, there's certainly,
Yeah.
I can see benefits along those lines. Absolutely, it's worth you having a look at.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it's the right tool for testing your profile only data.
Yeah.
You can use
Validator's fine.
You can use the Inferno validator. But,
yeah.
Yeah, so we've taken the responder capability statement and turned all those into test cases, and that's what's implemented in Inferno.
Might just see who else is on the call here. Adrian from Crystal.
Hey, Michael. I'm really just here as a bit of informational gathering at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not planning to attend next week, so yeah, I'm really just working on getting a test harness up and running at the moment.
Okay.
We've been looking at setting up a responder system. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah,
All right.
it's still very much in the infancy though. Yeah.
Yeah, no problems. And I mean, if you want to come to the other events, there's one in Sydney and one in Melbourne in the coming weeks. And I mean, yeah, you can bring along proof of concept as well. Like it doesn't have to be polished piece of kit.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, we're really just investigating. We've got some tools at our disposal.
Yeah.
In terms of Next Gen Connect that we think we can leverage in some ways. So we're just trying to explore what our possibilities are there and how we can apply profiles correctly and be conformant. So yeah.
No problems.
Cool. Thanks.
Just trying to see who else is there anyone else on the call that is coming next week?
Yeah, I can go. I'm here from White Fox Cloud
Hi.
Consult. We're working with a few clients, building the AU core for them on top of their products. And as part of that, we've actually created a fork of the HappyFire server supporting the 0.3.0 ballot, which we're now going to upgrade to support 0.4.0. Hopefully it's not too different. I'm planning on coming next week and bringing that in just to test and see how that goes.
Yeah, okay, sounds great. I think have you completed the EOI? I think you had.
Not yet, but
Not yet.
I'll have to check. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think
we did get one.
Yeah.
Because Nicholas from my team was doing a lot of that. Maybe he has already done that.
Okay. I think we've just we may have just been waiting for a confirmation of numbers. We're just trying to confirm numbers. I think there might have been a follow-up email to that, just but no, it's great coming along. But do you know how many people you're planning on bringing along?
It would just be me. Yeah.
Oh, just you? Okay, that's easy enough then. Yep, I'll just make sure we've got that on the list.
No worries.
Excellent, thanks, Amy. Oh, test data and the like.
Test,
do you likely to be using the?
We'll bring a little bit of test data we've got, but it's for the clients we are doing mainly patients allergies that are not too extensive yet. So I'll let you know. I'll talk to Nicholas and let you know if you need something specific.
Yeah, like I said, we've got the test data repository there that's got a whole heap in there. So you might find some stuff in there that's useful for you. You can reuse. We can help you load some of that if you need it, but have a look at that. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
Heath.
Thank you.
Being a happy server, you should be able to use a utility that has been exposed or provided as part of the test data repo that can upload all of that test data to your repository. It's the tool that we use to populate the reference server. So because Happy supports the update create capability, that'll work well for you. So that's certainly something that will be an option for you.
Yep.
You choose.
So awesome if you can drop a link or something for me on the chat.
Yeah, Steph, do you want to just whack the link back into that GitHub repository?
I think
Yep,
I
I've
think
just
there was
dropped
some
probably in there.
documentation was
Yeah,
being
but there's
written as
some.
well.
Yeah, I'll find.
That's still in work in progress, so that'll
Yep.
be available.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, this one here. Sorry.
Thanks.
Okay. Do we have anyone else on the call?
Anyone from CareLinks on the call? No? Okay, we might just try to contact them, have one-on-one.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, everyone. So really, that's where the end of sort of the kickoff today. We've got the links back here about the testing event page, which has that summary of information, and the BioRG testing FAQ. We've got a Zulip chat. Any questions, just whack them in there and we'll get back to you on it, or send us an email. Like I said, if the agency wants a writable server, just send us an email, or anyone else for that matter. Yeah, just send us an email so we can set one up for you. And we'll go from there. So open the floor to any questions. If anyone happy to talk about anything, but any questions anyone may have, and open the floor. But otherwise, if you don't, if no one has any questions now, you can think of something later. Just use one of those channels and reach out to us. And other than that, we'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday in Brisbane. Well,
Thank you.
the thumbs up, not a question, but that's great. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good one.
How do I stop recording? There we go.